You're listening to the Iron and Grace podcast, so pick up your sword and join the good fight.
The pride of your heart has deceived you. You who live in the clefts of the rock in your lofty dwelling, who say in your heart, who will bring me down to the ground? Though you soar aloft like an eagle, though your nest is set among the stars, from there I will bring you down, declares the Lord. That's Obadiah 3 and 4. Hi, this is Kyle.
This is Drew.
Welcome to Iron and Grace.
So, a little bit on ego there.
Yeah, I am prideful sometimes.
Sometimes.
Maybe that has gotten the best of me.
He
relatively recently.
Yeah. I feel like you say that, but I think the fact that you're conscious of it means that you're probably not that ego-driven in the grand scheme of people that are ego-driven.
I'm just aware of it.
Yeah.
It's like I can... Well, no, that's not true. I try and be aware of it. Sometimes I become aware of it, like right after I say something where I go, probably should have thought about that first. So it's like me I say it a lot so that I'm constantly trying to check myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think we all have to, right? It's easy to be prideful and ego driven. And on that topic, I think the main topic's pajama pants, I guess. Teenagers, your favorite word.
Yeah. Well, and I mentioned the pajama pants thing. I think I messaged you the other day because we were in the grocery store and some guy who, was not even a teenager. He was an adult.
Or an adult.
Yeah. At least, age wise was an adult in pajama pants. I'm like, and it just bothers me.
What type of pajama pants were they? Do you remember?
Oh, geez. I don't know. They had characters on them of some sort. It might have been SpongeBob or
full-blown pajama pants.
Yeah, they were like... Yeah. They were pajama pants that you would expect like a 5 to 8 year old to wear at home for bed.
It's crazy, but so I drive by a high school on the way home. I go right by the school zone, and granted it's a middle school, but the amount of pajama pants you see coming home from school is crazy to me. I feel like when I went to school, I feel like they'd have made you go home and change, right? I mean, maybe not, but I think they would have.
I think you could wear pajama pants to school when I was in school. Some of the dress code stuff, like when I first got into school, there was like almost no dress code, and then some of this is...
They tightened it up.
Some of this is pretty bad, so they kind of changed some of it while I was in school. And, we fought against it because that's what you do as a kid. But
it's true.
I don't know. I don't really even know why it bothers me as much as it does, but I don't know. When I see a young man, especially out in pajama pants, women go out in pajama pants, and I should feel the same way about it. But, my wife looks cute in pajama pants. So maybe they're trying to look cute. I don't know. Maybe I should have a stronger opinion about that. But when it's a young man, especially if he's out there with, other people, or a girl or his wife, and I'm just like, I can't take you seriously in any way. If there was to be a conflict and you and I were in a conflict, even if it was somebody who could absolutely stomp me into a puddle, I'm like, I'm sorry, I can't take you seriously at all. You're in the freaking pajama pants.
And I mean, I feel like the pajama pants are not going to help you in a struggle, but I just feel like it kind of speaks to their... I think in today's day and age, we'll use the word teenager, even though I know you don't like that, and we'll break that down more, but it fits the class of who we're talking about. Yeah. There's a lack of seriousness to anything, and I think that's the embodiment of it. I'm wearing my pajamas even though I'm at the store. There's just they've beat down any level of taking things serious, taking the respect of everything, and that's kind of the overflow of that is seeing people dressed in pajamas at the grocery store.
Yeah,
or even pajamas in it. Even I feel like the grocery store is one thing, but at school, is even worse. I mean.
Yeah, I don't know if it's worse at school. I don't know. It's kind of Like, I feel like, and maybe I'm way off here, but for a while, years and years ago, it was kids are being pressed too hard, too fast to become adults.
Yeah.
You know, we had a time in this country where if you were 12 years old, you could be working 80 hours a week in a mine.
Yeah.
That's not good.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't know if like a hard opposition to that or like the pendulum swinging in the other direction is what has kind of led to now we have 28-year-old guys walking around the grocery store in pajama pants with this shirt that's 18 sizes too big.
Yeah.
And fluffy slippers on. And it's that like, I'm not grown up. I don't have to grow up. I can just go ahead and behave like a child forever. And that's where the teen thing bothers me. And, I just read about pride. So like, hey, I accept I could be like way off base here. Give me some grace, I guess. Or don't, whatever. But I think we've gone from, okay, son, you're 13 now. It's time for you to be a man and go to work and act as an adult. And we've pushed that back and pushed that back and pushed that back to, well, you need to enjoy your childhood and you need to experience things and you don't really need to grow up yet. And
Yeah.
I don't think that's better.
No.
I don't think that's better. And I think young guys, young boys coming into the age where we call them teenagers, adolescents, I think it's healthy for them to long to be looked at as a man.
Yeah.
I certainly did. I still, way closer to 40 than I am 20.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I got a couple years.
Good for you.
I got a couple years till I'm mid-30s.
I'm closer to the late 30s, but just whatever. I like identifying as a man and being looked at as a respectable man is like something that I wanted from the time I was a boy. I saw my dad who was and is a respectable man who carried himself in that way. He was kind, he was strong, he was, all the things that I thought a man's supposed to be. Like, and when we went to the store, it was Mark and Mark's boy. And funny enough, like my boy's name is Mark. But I always I aspired to be that. So I kind of, in a lot of ways, I tried to skip past the adolescence stage. And I've had plenty of stupid adolescent things, but I think we've really encouraged that societally to just go be a stupid teenager. No, don't be a stupid teenager. Why? Why be a stupid teenager?
I think there's like an escapism like that. Those years of when you become a teenager at 13 and like whatever you want to call it, once you're 20 or whatever, and you're not a teenager, there's like this like window that I feel like modern society is made into this. You're escaping responsibility. You're going out. You're being free. You're doing things that you can't do anymore. But when you think about it, those are the formative years that you should be once you're 13. I mean, like prior to 13, I feel like you're a kid, right? Yeah. You're experiencing those things that kids experience. Once you're 13, I feel like as a male, you should start being prepared and forming into the man you're going to be once you're 20 and 21.
You're still a kid.
Absolutely.
There's no question that you're still a kid, but you're learning to become an adult.
Absolutely.
And you should be learning to become an adult. Doesn't mean you can't have fun as between 13 and 18. It doesn't mean that you can't do stupid kid things. You're going to. Trust me. No matter what the goal is, you're going to do stupid teen things because that happens. But I feel like it's become, the term teen has become an excuse for a synonym for punk ass kid.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you've got teenagers in the house.
Irresponsible.
You're a teen.
Rude.
Yeah.
Disrespectful.
It's almost like a derogatory term.
Yeah, it kind of has become that. And maybe we're off base with the pajama pants, and maybe I
still dislike pajama pants.
I get joked in my family for not wearing appropriate attire when I'm relaxed. So I'm the polar opposite. I would never be wearing pajama. It would make me so uncomfortable to have pajama style pants. You were talking about sweatpants. It even makes me almost uncomfortable in sweatpants out in public. I'm the guy that never wears shorts.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I wear shorts. I wear my gym shorts. And maybe that's just as bad. Like I go to the dollar store in shorts
really?
from the gym, but it's athletic wear, you know, or like in sweatpants. I also dislike going out in sweatpants because it makes me feel like a slob. But you know, I was lifting the other day and I had to stop at the store before I went home. I had sweatpants on to lift weights, so I went to the store in sweatpants, feeling uncomfortable. But you know, so be it. But pajama pants, you probably did not just come from the gym.
No.
And there's a difference. Like, you can generally tell
whether they're
the guy that just left the gym or might be headed to the gym, and the kid that has just been playing video games for the last 17 hours and ran out of Cheetos.
I think there is something to like how we dress. Like there's different dress for different occasions, different things we're doing. Obviously, you wouldn't wear. I mean, you do see it. Like you wouldn't wear. With what you do, you wouldn't be out there in pajama pants. Like there's a purpose behind thick jeans, work pants, carpenter pants when you're working. Like there's a reason we wear that type of stuff, and there's a reason we wear uniforms. I don't know where you stand on that. I think I'm one that I think school uniforms is a good thing.
I don't care.
No opinion on that?
Not really. I definitely was against it when I was in school.
Oh, yeah.
But I
think everyone is.
I was like a hardcore punk rock kid. So I had like the studded wristbands, and I had long black hair. Which is crazy. Today I would laugh at me then, but that's.
We still have not seen a picture of Kyle in long black hair.
No, really? I haven't shown you a picture yet? I'll pull one
Jerry
up.
Lynn mentioned it, but I'm still.
I'll see if I can pull one up. Maybe you can post it on the page, and all 3 people that follow it will laugh at me.
See, I think there's a balancing act that you can have with school uniforms. I just feel like there's so much, at least in my school, like in my high school and middle school growing up, like there's so much stuff that like the school uniform kind of cuts out. And I get there's going to be bullying. That's going to still be there. But I feel like the school uniform definitely kind of like levels the playing field as far as, he has this, he has that, she has this, she's wearing that. Like it definitely cuts some of that out. As far as like inappropriate dress, it cuts like some of that out.
Well, okay.
But I think like personal expression, I understand where people come from.
I'm trying to develop an opinion on this as you talk about it. And I think the reason why I'm kind of like on the dress code thing is the parents should be the dress code.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I agree. Yeah, that makes sense.
If my daughter tries to leave the house in a tube top and a skirt that you can see your ass cheeks, like that's not going to happen.
No. Yeah.
There are parents that will let that stuff slide. I don't think that's okay. But that's a parent problem. So we're trying to circumvent the problem by just make the school do it. But that's the same thing with public school in general. Like it's the parents' job to make sure that the child is educated. Well, the parents are busy. The parents have to work, so we'll send them to public school. Well, okay, it's the parents' job to make sure that the child is dressed safely and appropriately. Yeah. Well, the parents can't do that or won't do that, so now it's the school's job. Yeah. So it's like government thing. The government sucks at the things that they're supposed to do, and yet we still pile more crap on for them to try and do, even though they suck at the things that they're supposed to do. Which
that makes sense. I mean, that does. For me, like wearing a uniform every day, it definitely cuts down on the stress level for me of like what to wear and what I'm going to put on in the morning. I don't have to think about it. I know exactly what I'm going to wear.
Yeah. Well, a work environment is different. Like, and especially where you work, if you got a wild hair and decided you wanted to wear an orange jumpsuit to work, that would probably not be good because, you'd fit in with the wrong crowd.
Yeah, that's true.
And like what I do, there's no uniform, but
it's a necessity.
I like wear work boots, pants that don't catch on fire easy, and a shirt that, covers good. Like probably not going to be working shirtless out in the shop. Although I've got a buddy with a motorcycle shop, and
he works shirtless.
Yeah. He's jacked and he likes to show it off, but I don't know.
I feel like you'd have the scars.
Spatter burns on your chest don't seem sexy to me, but
that's.
I hope he listens to this and he'll know. I love you, Patrick.
Now he knows. He probably knew before though. Yeah, but that's some people's thing. I could never do that. I can never. Yeah, I'm like in the yard with a shirt on because like I don't know.
I mean, I grew up doing construction. And no problem working outside with a shirt off. That's getting
a nice tan.
Yeah, right. And I'm super hairy, so it's like I got a shirt on all the time, anyways. But in the shop environment, you just end up gross.
Yeah, you would.
And burned and cut.
And we don't want that.
Not
We
safe.
don't want that. We don't want that. So teenage years, where do you think's like a healthy medium?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, what we're trying to do, and like, hey, my oldest kid is 14 and a half, so my experience is pretty limited. I have not raised a child through all the way through teen years to adulthood yet. But what we're trying to do is just treat her like an adult with the understanding that she's not there yet.
Yeah.
And, you know, and be fair and have grace where we can. And sometimes the conversations we have are very much like adult to adult.
Yeah.
And that's the way she carries herself most of the time. And that's the way she talks most of the time. And I mean, if Rose had to go out on her own today, she'd be okay.
Right. Yeah.
It wouldn't be ideal.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot that she doesn't know yet, obviously. But she'd be okay.
Yeah.
And the goal is by the time she leaves the house, she's not going to just be okay, but she's going to have an understanding of the way the world works, an understanding of how to live in it, an understanding of how to interact with other people in the world. So, like, you know, she's in a lot of ways, she checks the adult boxes. In some ways, she doesn't yet, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But I don't want to give her like a blanket excuse for, you know, between now and her 18th, 20th birthday to be an idiot.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like that would be way more detrimental to her than helpful.
Yeah. I think
Because you even see it with young adults,
Yeah.
with the 13, 18s. They're like, they see it, there's not all of them, but some of them see it like as an excuse. Like, I'm supposed to be like this.
Yeah.
Like, well, no, not really.
And I feel like the common thought process behind that culture is that they're like getting out their juvenile ways in those teenage years. And I think what we've seen, like where I work, hiring, you know, a lot of people come into the law enforcement like in that 20 to 21 year old age bracket, early 20s. And what you see now is not necessarily like someone that's like gotten all of the irresponsibility out. They carry that irresponsible juvenile mindset into their early 20s.
Well, it's almost, and I could be way off base as usual, but it's almost like, okay, you do dumb things as a teen and then you become, all of a sudden you become an adult and now it's like, oh, I can do whatever I want now.
That's true.
I'm not going to get in trouble for it anymore. My mom, my dad can't tell me no. And I don't think I think that's probably not ideal.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I agree. And it's almost, we've seen with the way colleges kind of frame society too, we see like the teenager, okay, they're irresponsible, kind of having a little more freedom as a teenager, getting a little away with a little more to kind of experiment and do things and learn their way around life. And now we just have extended that into adulthood with college. And now it's like, oh, when you go to college, you should experience things, you should do these things. And now they're spit out into the rest of the world. And it's like, instead of having a prepared adult, which is not from just a selfish standpoint, but like from society standpoint, like I don't want a bunch of adults that act like teenagers. Like that doesn't serve anyone.
Well, and the whole, you should experiment and try new things. Like, is that really good?
Yeah.
Because I think there are certain things that maybe you probably shouldn't try.
Yeah.
Like
absolutely.
The party culture of college. Where's the benefit in that?
There is none.
I mean, I never really fell into that world because I was at that point I was working. Like I was pretty focused.
Yeah.
Again, did some dumb stuff through my teen years, but I was relatively focused. I mean, I met Jerry Lynn young.
Yeah.
So like she was my
mission driven. I mean, you knew what.
Yeah, and she always did a good job of keeping me
on
forward facing, I guess. And but you know, the party scene and drinking and sleeping around, like I really don't see how that lines up as in what way is that beneficial? Where does that experimentation, and even from a worldly perspective, I'm not saying like, okay, Drew's Christian perspective, Kyle's Christian perspective, I'm like from the world, like where is the benefit there?
Yeah.
Like what's the selling pitch to go to college, drink a whole bunch, do dumb stuff, sleep with as many people as you can. Like I just don't get the what's where's the good thing there?
And I think the sad part is sometimes you almost have like irrevocable consequences. You can. I mean, in a lot of cases, I mean, I think it's easy once we're like in our mid 20s and late 20s, and it like I did that looking back, and it's like it's easy for you just to say, "Oh yeah, we had so much fun." You know, that's self-serving, and I think it's an excuse that you're making. I think most people that have experienced that know that if they went back through it, they would not live that way. Well, but I think they feel guilty in a way.
I'm not anti-fun. Like, I don't think anybody's anti-fun. If you are, you suck. But okay, maybe during the party, during the whatever, it's fun in the moment, but there are plenty of things that are fun. Like rock climbing is fun, and jiu-jitsu is fun, mountain biking is fun, rollerblading is fun. All these things are fun. Like, fun is a relative term, but the lifelong consequences or potential lifelong consequences, or even the understanding, which I guess most of these kids just don't have, that there's a good chance that when you make it into the stage of actual adulthood, that there's going to be some regret associated with those times. And maybe it's not regret that, I drank a whole bunch, as long as you don't end up stuck in that lifestyle, which some people do. But, if you don't meet your wife in that time, you meet your wife later, do you tell her about all the girls from college?
Yeah.
Do you not tell her about all the girls from college? So now you're starting a relationship with secrets?
Yeah.
Or you do tell her, and maybe she's completely understanding, and she's like, hey, that's who you were. It's not who you are now. Everybody experiments, whatever. Or maybe she feels some level of jealousy there. Maybe she's going to compare herself every day to, there's just a lot there. Yeah, sorry, this is my second monster today, so
I got him addicted to energy drinks.
Wired. It is completely his fault. I didn't have an energy drink at all for years. And then Drew's like, here, try these white monsters. And I'm like,
I'm a bad influence.
Yeah, meth. Awesome.
They'll wean off their effects, and then you'll be good.
Maybe.
We just got to go back to black
crack.
Coffee. You just see, my thing is, I like black coffee.
I've also had coffee today.
Yeah. Well, I have too. But, we're highly caffeinated people.
Yes.
That's understandable.
Today, yeah.
I like black coffee. It's not bad taste-wise. Like, I mean, me and Deanna talk about this all the time, how, like, nobody actually likes black coffee. They like it.
I love black coffee.
But do you actually like the flavor of black coffee? Like, if you were to choose, like, if you had, like, a fruity coffee.
Yes, I like the taste of black coffee better than any other coffee.
Really?
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Even flavor palette-wise.
Yes.
Well, I stand corrected.
I mean, maybe I've just trained myself in that way because I've been drinking black coffee since.
Do you ever drink the sugary stuff?
I have.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
is it good, or what?
No.
What you don't like it about it?
The initial taste is like, it's sweet.
Yeah.
But afterwards, I'm always like.
Yeah, I get that too. Yeah, I get that too because I don't drink it that often. Yeah. I'll have it,
and then your stomach's upset because all the sugar.
Yeah, the stomach definitely.
Yeah. No, just straight black coffee is where it's at.
But I like the energy drinks because they're sugar free. You get some flavor because I don't really drink soda. So like,
I don't drink. I have not drank.
It's kind of like a treat.
I had one of the glass bottle Cokes at Mateo's bachelor party, and that was the first. I'll say soda to not hurt your feelings. First soda I've drank in probably, I don't know, 5 years at least.
Does it wreck your stomach when you drink it? It wrecks my stomach.
That one didn't, syrupy ones. Yeah, generally.
Yeah. Sometimes the glass bottle ones have like different sugar levels.
Yeah, I think they're the Mexican made ones or the glass bottle ones that have only
if they say
natural sugar.
You're supposed to drink those ones if you're going to drink soda. But
don't drink pop, soda, whatever.
I was going to say
it's not good for you.
Yeah, it is not good for you.
Neither are these though, so.
Yeah. But probably better than some alternatives. Maybe.
If they made one of these with protein in it,
that
would really be a problem.
Yeah.
Other than it'd probably taste like protein.
It tastes nasty. Yeah. I make the excuse of
give you the jitters and make you fart.
I'm unhydrated. I'm not hydrated, so like if I drink that, I'll be more hydrated. And it's a bad excuse, but anyways, there is a book George Gilder wrote about like. His generalized premise is like basically find a woman because it bridles the man.
Yeah.
In a very good way, not in a bad way.
Thank you. Good job for reeling us.
Yeah, but it is very true. Like you see, like a lot of the evil things that happen in the world are unbridled men, like basically falling into all the debauchery that men fall into, you know? And I think ego and pride's like a big portion of that. Self-interest, self-serving, the sexual side of it, the money side of it, like the power side of it. You see in so many cases that like just having a woman in your life, even prior to marriage, you know, having a girlfriend through high school, or, you know, we should always be striving towards marriage. That's why we date, but it bridles men because, you know, it gives you someone that you're serving, that you're responsible for to some degree. Obviously, before you're married, there's not as much responsibility there, but it bridles you from all of this. Like,
well, and we want that responsibility. Like we're hunting for that. Yeah. And we were designed for that. I mean, it's the one thing in the creation story that God says is not good is that man was alone. It's not good that man should be alone. And
that's a perfect example. And I don't even think George Gilder's, I mean, he's not like a big Christian author. I think he's someone that's come to that conclusion. I mean, obviously us as Christians, we read scripture and trust it. Someone outside of the Christian world, they're making observations about what they are around us. And, that's observable that we see that,
Well, I mean, why do men do dumb things?
Yeah.
Why do we do dumb things? To impress a girl.
Yeah.
To get back at a girl. Mm-hmm. To, maybe to impress our buddies, something like that. But I mean, generally, like we're pretty motivated. Women motivate us in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Like, and that motivation can be positive or that motivation can be negative. But even thinking along that line, if you're a young guy and you don't have a girlfriend, you should be preparing yourself and building yourself up to be a guy that is desirable for a young woman.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
I'll tell a story. At work the other day, we had a case, and I don't know how young he is. He's probably not that young. He's probably in his early 20s, I would think. He might be a little older than that, but he's involved in gangs, like gang activity, right? And he was probably born into that in the environment. That's not an excuse, but it's definitely a lot easier to get in a gang when like it's your own neighborhood gang. But he's got a woman in court with his little baby. Lady was beautiful. Kid was relatively healthy. She's alone in the courtroom. Just so like it's her and the baby, and there's nobody else in the courtroom for him. There's no buddies that he's in gangs with. None of that. Like these are like real street gangs. These aren't like just guys hanging around together. But she's here. She got his baby out there. He'd been locked up like 6 weeks or something. She's been taking care of his baby, he told me was in the NICU. And he's out here gallivanting around. And I do think like he was genuinely trying to make a change, which is probably really hard when you're roped into that lifestyle. But like you have these people that like that's his ticket out. Like I tried to tell him like go marry her and like get out of there. Like that woman out there is your escape. Like that's your ticket out. You'd have a kid now.
Marry her, move far away.
Yeah,
move far away.
And it's hard to see people like that because like he's when they first started doing the case, I'm like, oh, this guy, like this guy's terrible. Right. And as progressed, it started to come out that like he is trying to, make a difference and change the trajectory of where he's at. But it's hard. Right. But I think that has to be the motivation, or else young people like fall into that lifestyle. And it's very money driven. It's very selfishly driven. It's very like all your lustful desires can be fulfilled in that. And then you turn 30, 32, 33, and you're locked up and your life's essentially been ruined because those are the irrevocable damages that you can't really come back from.
Yeah. Yeah. And I maybe I'm wrong, but have you seen where it's almost like younger guys, they almost feel like they're not allowed to be serious.
Yeah.
I think everything has to be kind of a joke a little bit. And I've got some feeling about the whole stoicism thing. I think the stoicism has some really good things. It also has, it harnesses, a side of men that also should exist in the way we display empathy and care and things like that especially for our spouse and our children. But I think the fact that like being serious as a young man is almost looked at like a joke.
Yeah, it is.
Is not good. And I see that with some of the young guys we know. We're like, we'll start to have a conversation. It's like a real adult conversation. And then they'll say something that's
a joke,
just goofy.
Yeah,
and it's
to try to get it back on.
Yeah, to try and make sure that they don't sound. And I don't know if that's because they're worried that they're going to look like they're pretending.
Yeah,
but I think that's not a great thing. Like, we should be able to have serious conversations. Like, we can joke around too, but you shouldn't feel, if you're a 25-year-old guy, you shouldn't be forced to feel awkward having a serious conversation with another man.
Yeah, and I think people are uncomfortable with it, and I think that uncomfortability comes from
uncomfortable.
Is that a word?
I don't know.
It's a word now. We're making it a word. It's an Iron and Grace podcast word. They
Michelle, check us on that.
Yeah,
please.
exactly. Someone that's actually has some education behind her. She'll hear that because I know she listens to the podcast. But oh man, that one got my brain fried.
Sorry, I did that.
I got it.
Okay.
I think a lot of times, like, when you come out of that, if you start at 13, 14, 15 with a mindset of everything's a joke, I need to treat this time period as having fun, I need to, shuck responsibility, don't worry about that, just, go out there, experience life, have some fun, go to high school, go to the parties, do the school events. I think it leaves you with, now I'm 19, now I'm 20, and like, I'm kind of forced to have these conversations, and hopefully you have people in your life that are helping mentor and they're trying to push you into those conversations, but you've never had that before. So it's uncomfortable for you, and you basically autocorrect back to like, well, I'm just going to make this all a joke. Because when you make things, you see it in the law enforcement world of how much people joke. Like, the things that a standard street cop sees, they don't want to address those issues. Mm-hmm. So they make jokes about it. And I think we do that, especially men do that on all types of scales, whether that's like someone that's super depressed and like comes across as a comedian, or even on a simple, like, we're just trying to talk about, hey, you're going to marry that girl. And then it's like, oh, they make a joke about it. I'm like, no, I'm serious. Right.
Yeah.
Because that's the escape that they have to not have to worry about it.
Yeah. Well, I think, nobody wants to get written off as a waste of time or as stupid or, and I think it's a little bit of a defense mechanism. Like, if I just act a little bit like a goofball, then I don't have to worry about saying anything stupid, because everything I say is kind of stupid.
It's stupid, yeah.
And it's just stupid funny. It's not stupid like, oh, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
But, have we done that? Have we done that to young men? Because we're so used to, well, you're wrong and you said that and that's stupid and it doesn't make sense, and go back to your place, young boy. I don't know. I love having serious conversations with some of the younger guys that we know, especially when they're driven towards something positive, or even when they're trying to, genuinely trying to figure things out. It's like, dude, I am right here. I want to help you out best I can. Like, I don't have it all figured out, but I help you to the degree that I can.
Yeah. I think, and like for me, as someone that, I try to have those conversations, because I know people, like, a lot of times they aren't having those conversations. So I feel like as we get older, like, it's kind of our duty to like have those conversations with young people, even if, and I get there's a boundary there, but even if that's not your kid, like, we've got some responsibility as men, as mentors in our own communities to keep saying those things, like, find a girlfriend. You have a girlfriend because you're going to marry that person. When you're looking for a girlfriend, you're looking for a wife. Like, these things that aren't being said, go out there and focus on, being responsible so that you can have a family, so you can move on and do these adult things. Like, you should be focused on that in your teenage years. Like, that stuff's like not getting said. So I feel like we do have a responsibility.
And when it is getting said, I think there's a little bit of, but do I even want that?
Yeah.
Because, like, the sitcom world looks at, the living the adult life as boring or miserable or no fun or whatever. But being adult is, there are aspects that suck, but it shouldn't
be that way.
It shouldn't be that way. Like, marriage should be looked at as a really good thing. Yeah. An enjoyable thing in every way.
Yeah.
Having a career should be looked at as a good thing. Like, you shouldn't hate your job.
Yeah.
That's not you don't have to find a job that you hate. That's not ideal, actually. You should find a job that you enjoy, at least to some degree.
Yeah.
Adult life, it's not like you're a kid and you have all this fun, you become an adult and all of a sudden your life sucks. That's not how it's supposed to be.
Yeah. There's so much like to unpack with that too. Like I really do think, and this is something that maybe people don't think about, maybe just I'm wearing a tinfoil hat, but I think media and entertainment has really attacked, I mean, men. They've really attacked the household as a whole. I mean, how many sitcoms do you see where
I am from the Homer Simpson generation.
Yeah. I mean, the woman's unhappy. The husband, the man is not the man of the house. He's irresponsible. He's a goober. He's a jokester. He's unintelligent. They make him out to be this doof, like this loof, you know, and the woman's this, you know, one that has to hold everything together, and she's unhappy because this guy's an idiot. I mean, that's essentially what it is. Yeah. The kids are, you know, all over the place, and they make this what we should glorify, especially in America. Like that's the American dream, right? That's what this country was built on, was that idea of a household that's strong, individually strong, that's strong as that builds communities, right? And we've like entertainment like attacks it. I think it's targeted. I think there's purpose behind a lot of that. I mean, maybe it's like a snowball effect of like people like watching it because it's like countercultural. Now it's not. Maybe in the 70s, 80s, 90s it kind of was. But I just don't see how that, with how much, I mean, you don't even see shows now that aren't like every sitcom about a family is like structured that way. And when you, like, I challenge people to think of the shows they watch, and almost every one of them now that's like mainstream has the aloof dad, has the unhappy wife,
right,
and the progressive kids that feel trapped by their weird parents.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to think. We don't really watch much TV, so I can't really give much modern insight. But, you know, like I said, I was the Simpsons, grew up in the Simpsons generation, which I guess they're still on. Simpsons are still on. Yeah. But, you know, back in the OG Simpsons time, and yeah, it was like you had Homer Simpson was the dad who was kind of an idiot or completely an idiot. He was overweight, you know, not good at his job. Wife kind of put up with him, kind of knew he was an idiot. Nobody really takes him seriously. And then you've got Ned Flanders, who's supposed to be like the goody two-shoes Christian guy, and he's a joke too.
Yeah.
So like all the male characters in that show are not so much to be looked up to.
Yeah.
Like the best guy in the show is probably the bartender.
Yeah.
Who's, or Apu, the guy who runs the Quickie Mart.
Yeah.
Is probably like the best father, husband.
Yeah.
So like they're in there, but they're the side character at best.
Yeah. And what's like one thing like
be Apu people.
Yeah. That's a good slogan. We'll make a shirt. Which would probably sell a lot because people like their Simpsons.
Maybe. I loved the Simpsons. I
mean, it is a good show. I mean, it's well written, you know, but I think when we're engaged in a lot of entertainment, we have to be conscious of like what's behind it. And me and Deanna talk about this. Deanna's really big into literature and books, and we always like critique whatever we watch. And like Ashley, her sister, gets pissed off because we'll pause it and be like, what do we think's about to happen? And then we'll try to like lay out a timeline. She's like,
just let me watch.
Yeah, we'll like lay out a timeline for the next like hour of the movie, and then like, okay, click. And then once our like prediction comes, then we're pausing again to talk about it. But yeah, there's when you think about movies and entertainment, we think of it as like, oh, that's not what they meant, you know. But every little thing that's in that show, in entertainment, whatever it is, media, someone
came up with it.
Yeah, or a group of people like deliberately intended for those words, the music in the background, the books that's on the table, the things they say, the car that's in the background. That's just been selected. They don't just. It's not just like, oh, just grab a random book off the shelf and put it on the desk. Like, there's an intention to like behind every little thing that's in there.
Well, and then you got like the other stereotype, like that 70s show stereotype where you've got Red Foreman, who
is like over the top,
is like super,
rigid,
maybe stoic is kind of, and then the kids are the, you know, stupid stoner teenagers.
Yeah,
and it's like that other dynamic.
And I get like
although I am a Red Foreman fan, to be honest.
Yeah, well,
he's way better than Homer.
But you watch those shows and like you don't really take them for what they are. You know, it's a comedy, it's funny, and like I get it. They exaggerate, and like that's what makes it funny, right? Like Saturday Night Live is funny because it's like exaggerated. I don't watch Saturday Night Live because it's inappropriate in my opinion, but certain things are exaggerated. That's why it's funny. But like if
Saturday Night Live of like 15, 20 years ago was pretty funny.
Yeah, there you go. But it's like you see these things, and like if you sit down and think about it, like you said, what's the dad in that 70s show you just said?
Red Foreman.
It's like you sit back and Red's like made fun of in the show, and he's like kind of a comedic character, but then you think like,
Well, he's
Is
the
he
one
really-
serious one in the show.
Yeah.
And he looks at the kids and he's like, "You're a dumbass."
Yeah.
Which is like his key line in the whole show is stop being a dumbass. And he's right.
And he's right.
He's right.
Yeah, he's right.
But he's almost looked at like he's kind of the bad guy.
Yeah.
But he's the only one that's got his head screwed on straight.
And that even more to my point of like, okay,
His poor wife is a lush.
Yeah,
He's a
the
total drunk.
Now we've taken and that happens in media too, and you'll see it all in media, all in entertainment of like, okay, he's the responsible one, the someone that like, I get he's a little gruff, he's a little like, you know, maybe rude in a way, but like that's the responsible party, and like he's kind of being made fun of.
Yeah,
you know, so it's like even more beaten down the what we would consider truth, the things that we should be elevating.
Yeah, and the reality is people are complex. Like,
yeah, it's true.
And it's okay to be a little bit complex. Like I have,
it's true.
And I'm not the prime example of what a man should be, of course, but you know, I can be stern.
Yeah.
And I can be gruff and I can be very to the point, you know, but I can also, or should also be able to be kind and empathetic and soft. And at times I can be a goofball, like we can screw around and we can have fun, but I don't have to fit into, I have to fit into what God says I'm supposed to be able to do.
Yeah.
You know, God tells me act like Jesus. You know, that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to act like Jesus. Who's Jesus? What was he? What is he? He is the lion and the lamb. So he is the perfect mix of stern truth to the point. He's never lukewarm. Yeah. You know, but he's also kind. He's empathetic. He's humble. Yeah. You know, we should be able to be all these things. Yeah.
And I think, like, I mean, in scripture, his yes was yes, his no was no. And I think that's the way we should live our lives. You know, I'm someone there's not a lot of gray usually, which I get sometimes can maybe cause problems. And that's not what I mean by, you know, yes is yes. And I get it. Like, we hold to certain values and like they should be held to. But you see like this, I think that's how we deal with it as men, is we hide from responsibility by making jokes out of it. Like I really do think that's it. And you see it on all levels, right? I mean, whether it's a teenager, whether it's adult, you know, that's just seems to be the way that men deal with it. I don't know how women deal with it differently, but
women cry more than we do.
Yeah. I was like looking for a word that what people on the internet wouldn't be like, oh, these misogynists.
Whatever.
Women gossip. There you go.
We love
loaded
women.
word.
Like I have a house full of women. I have a wife and 4 daughters. I love women. I'm not a misogynist.
Yeah. I really think what's interesting too is like the balancing act of.
Wait, maybe that made me sound more like a misogynist. I don't know. Whatever.
Oh, there was something when we were talking about teenage years and like college years and like, you know, a guy going around and sleeping around with a lot of people. One thing that young people need to understand is in the time that's happening, you might feel like, oh, this is cool. And even in today's modern age and culture, like the women are okay with it too. So it's not like, you're being misogynist. Like both parties are like totally okay with people sleeping around with a bunch of partners, but those relationships that you have will absolutely affect like your future marriage. Like most people, even though they're living a full college lifestyle, they still do intend on getting married down the road. Like most people do. And just know that those relationships that you have, those one night stands throughout college, they do affect your future marriage in some capacity, whether greatly or, you know.
Every relationship affects future relationships. Yeah. It's like married couples that get divorced with the hope that they'll get married again and the next one's going to work. And there is a place for divorce. Like I harp on that on, you know, never use the word divorce. And once you're married, the intent is to be forever. And I stand by those things, but things do happen. People do get divorced. You know, sometimes both parties are not, this person wants to make it work. This person doesn't. You can't change their heart. Yeah. Whatever the circumstances were that leads to it. But a lot of times, or no, every time, your future relationships will be affected by your previous relationship. Yeah. And sometimes it's in a good way. Sometimes we learned a lesson and we understand that we played a part, you know, because everybody plays a part, you know, it takes two. Yeah. and you get better and you do better the next time. But a lot of times, and I think the reason why you see, people who get divorced once and get remarried have a tendency to get divorced multiple times is you get that the grass is greener on the other side effect, or when I get there, I'll do it like this.
Yeah.
Or the young guy that's sleeping with a bunch of women. Well, when I find the right one, well, that mindset it doesn't work that way. It's not like, oh, I met the perfect girl. Now all of a sudden I'm going to change all these things that I've been doing, and all the desires that I let just take over are I'll be able to harness those back in, and I'll be able to be the man that this woman wants me to be. Well, it's not that easy. No, you have to practice to become that.
Yeah, and I do understand that people change, right? I mean, you could be married to someone and they could have certain values, and like 20 years later, they might be a completely different person. Like I get that happens, or 5 years later, I get that happens, and then people divorce, people there's abuse involved and things like that. But I do think with the beatdown of the seriousness of culture, especially in those years that you should be forming opinions, forming values, meeting people, experiencing people that don't have your values, being around people that do have your values, I think it is really important to not shrug that off as a joke, because when we're choosing our partners, like we have to be value forward. Because I think, and not even like you're being disingenuous in a bad way, but I think it's easy. Like when let's say you're 18, meeting a girl, it's very easy to be disingenuous about who you are to try to serve some type of purpose, whether that is, sleeping with them, getting in a relationship with them because you want to be in a relationship. I think it's so important as a guy to be value forward. I mean, a woman too, to be value forward, talk about the things that matter in life. Like, what are your values? What type of character do you have? I think your political and religious things matter when you're going to be in a relationship, because those are the big things that if you're not forward with in the beginning, let's say you put those talks off for a year. Now there's all these other things involved in a relationship, and now it's 5 years down the road, you're now married, and now the genuine you's coming out, the values that you do hold, and you realize that these two people, we have different values. Yeah. And it's like, well, why didn't we say that in the beginning? Yeah. I get people change too. That does happen.
Well, and it's hard to come, to meet people at a point in time and go, oh, well, you should have. Yeah. That's not fair. In a lot of ways, that's not fair. Because we all have, well, we should have. Yeah. And we've all got friends and family that are going through, have recently, or have in the past gone through divorce for 100 million different reasons. So those things happen, but the goal is to prevent those things. Yeah. So we're talking to the not married yet, the dating, the not even dating yet. Like, who are you training yourself to become? Yeah. Because it takes years and years and years to become a decent husband. Like, the odds of you getting married and all of a sudden you're the perfect man, bro. Yeah. You're probably not. Yeah. But if you start preparing yourself young, and it sounds silly to say it like that, because it's not like you're 12 and you're going to go, well, I'm going to start practicing at being a good husband. That's not what I mean. But it does mean being intentional with just becoming a man who's ready, willing, and excited to handle the responsibilities that are going to come. And like the little stair steps from being a 12-year-old boy with no responsibility in the world to being an adult and having all the responsibility in the world. Yeah. Like, I think those years between that and that should not be just wasted on being a dumbass teenager. Yeah. I mean, that's my general premise, is that those teenage years should be treated seriously, because that's the time you have to shape yourself into a responsible adult, responsible man, a responsible partner in a marriage. But maybe it's me wearing my tinfoil hat again, but it's almost like they okey-doke the teenagers, the youth, they joke around their teenage years, they go to college, they continue to joke around, and now they go out into the workforce. Maybe they get a good job, but they're not married, they don't have a significant other, they don't understand how to,
be in a marriage, and then now they're in their late 20s, maybe their early 30s, and like it's like almost too late. Like it's almost like they've okey doked people into thinking like what's important is your education and having fun and being free.
Why are all the things between the time you're born and the time you become an adult? Why are those years so important? Because those years add up to what you'll be as an adult. Because you spend a whole lot more year if you're fortunate enough to live long enough, you spend a whole lot more time outside of the childhood teenage world than you do as an adult
teenager.
So you're an adult from the time you're we'll call it 20. We'll call it 20. 20 to 80 if you live to 80. So you got 60 years as an adult. Your first 20 years are just to kind of prepare you to be an adult. So if you're going to be what you created in those early years, like why would you not spend those formidable years forming into something that's worth a damn instead of a bunch of bad habits?
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'm going to spend, from birth till 12 just being a kid and having fun and doing nothing but kid things. Awesome. That's like cool. You're 12. That's good. I think that's good. And then from 13 to 18, I'm going to spend pushing the limits of trouble and promiscuity and I don't know, whatever the world throws at the teenagers today, just be as fully into that as I can.
Yeah.
And then I've got from 18 to 24 to tighten up and go to college, but I'm also going to be a partier in college. And then you get out of college, now all of a sudden you're supposed to be an adult.
Yeah.
Well, you don't have any idea how to be an adult or to be responsible or take care of yourself at all. Like you've been being a moron for the last 15 years, 10 years, 15 years. Like, what are you supposed to do?
Yeah. And it's kind of like, I hate to say it, but like that point, it's almost kind of too late, Hopefully you have some good parents that are still.
It's not. I don't.
I'm not saying it's too late to where it's unrepairable, but it's going to be a lot harder to become an adult at 22, 23 than it is.
Yeah. Why start then? Like, why do a bunch of things that you have to unlearn?
Yeah.
Like, I don't. And again, I don't see the benefit in those things. Maybe somebody could sit me down and go, okay, look, these are the benefits of the things that kids do between the ages of 13 and 25 that you see as so terrible. This is why they're good things. Maybe someone could explain that to me, but I feel like the odds are pretty slim.
Yeah. We were at a discussion at work the other day. Somebody asked me why I don't drink alcohol. And from a non-religious, non-anything, like that, if you take the drunkenness out of alcohol, I mean, I guess people like the flavor of wine and it, relaxes them or whatever. But like most people that I know that drink, they only drink to get drunk. Like that most people I know. I get there's some people that aren't, but like most of the people in like my work environment, I mean, I would say the majority of them, they drink to party, they drink to, escape, whatever it is. When you take that out of it and you start thinking, okay, can I have fun without alcohol? Can I have a good time without being plastered drunk? And I wonder too, like, I know when I was younger and drank, I had a lot of like insecurities that like, not like insecurities is like what you think of insecurities, but like maybe like some social insecurities. So drinking gave me, they kind of, when you drink, kind of disappear, right?
Call it a social lubricant for a reason.
Yeah, exactly. That's the perfect word, And those are things that like maybe I didn't address properly. Maybe I should have hashed out myself and not just gone to alcohol and partying and using that as a social lubricant, right? And I think it's important to foster good environments that you can have fun and not have those type of things involved, right? I mean, it's so intertwined in like our culture now that like if you're at a party, like there's alcohol. Like, why does there have to be alcohol at a party?
I don't drink either. I did, and I never really had a problem with drinking, and I don't have a problem with alcohol or other people drinking.
Yeah,
the reason I chose not to drink or to stop drinking, which I was never a heavy drinker, but anyways, there's alcohol in scripture. Jesus turned water into wine. And there's no doubt that the people that he made the wine for were already drunk when he made it. So I don't think that alcohol per se is a sin. Now, can it be? Yeah, certainly. To me, and I've had this conversation with several people, you know, the whole getting drunk thing, I think is not good for me because it makes me feel ineffective and that makes me really uncomfortable. Like I like, at least in my own mind, being the guy that's prepared to be helpful if necessary. If I'm drunk, that ain't happening. I'm not helpful when I'm drunk in any way. Most people are not. And I really like the taste of a cold beer. A Corona with lime in it, it's super cold, delicious.
Yeah.
But for a time, we would keep a 6-pack in the fridge, and after a long, hot day, I would drink a beer. Not all the time, once in a while. Jerry would drink one with me, and we both really enjoyed it. But if I had a really long, hot day that was also really stressful, maybe I'd have 2.
Yeah.
Not all the time. And then, well, the 6-packs lasted less time. And I think about the time where I realized, oh, we polished off a 12-pack in a week.
Yeah.
Which, again, is not a lot.
Yeah.
But, like, you know what? I don't see this as helpful.
Yeah.
It's not adding to my health in any way.
Yeah.
I don't see the benefit to it. I don't see the purpose to it. It's easier for me to just cut it out completely. If it's not there, it can't be a thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's never a bad thing to not drink.
Yeah.
It's a bad thing sometimes to drink.
Yeah.
So like I think that's one of those, everything is permissible, not everything is helpful kind of things. You know?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think there's a level of intoxication that is definitely sinful scripturally, and I definitely think is wrong. I don't think alcohol just on its face is a sin or anything wrong with that. Like you said, Corona tastes good having a beer after work. Like there's nothing wrong with that, right? You know, I think it's a dangerous game that a lot of people play. And like when you talk about the teenager, I think you have not fully prepared individual diving into a dangerous game that adults can't handle.
Yeah, you know? Right. So we know way more people that have problems with alcohol or problems in their past caused by alcohol than we know people who have problems because they don't use alcohol.
Yeah.
The chances of you getting in trouble because you refuse to drink are pretty darn slim.
Yeah. And I do think, like, when you think about drugs too, people are always like, oh, marijuana's not a gateway drug, alcohol's not a gateway drug, but I think you have to think of it as in a bigger picture. If you're in an environment that's a heavy drinking environment, you're probably in an environment that's a heavy marijuana smoking environment.
Nowadays,
a drug environment. And do I think everyone that goes and parties and drinks a lot is going to be falling into drugs? No, but you're a lot more likely to fall into that world when you're engrossed in it, right? You know, because I mean, peer pressure is a thing. People do pressure you into those things, and when you're in those environments and you're surrounding yourself with it, and if you think, alcohol really is the big problem of society when it comes to like people using, like self-medicating and things, you know, but you think alcohol's hard to deal with if you start experimenting with opioids and drugs and things like that. Yeah. Now you've become, you've got a real issue here.
Yeah. And in my opinion has lessened on the weed thing a lot over the last few years. I've never done drugs. Never. I've never smoked a cigarette. Well, I mean, I've drank in the past, but I've never smoked anything. I've never done anything like that. And I was always very hard line, like drugs are bad. Yeah. Weed is bad. Everything's bad. And although I still don't think it's good,
is it?
I think it's not helpful. And there are people like, well, it helps with my pain. It helps my anxiety, whatever. Okay. Perhaps there's an exception to the rule somewhere, but generally speaking, I think alcohol, weed, down the line to more extreme, even for somebody who perhaps it's not directly harmful, because I think there probably are plenty of people out there that can drink a beer every once in a while or several beers every once in a while or smoke a joint every once in a while, and it's not a big deal for them.
Yeah.
Those people exist. Anytime you say, well, I don't agree with this, you've got somebody says, well, I know a guy who, fine, that may exist. Is it harmful? Maybe not. Is it beneficial? Is it helpful? I don't think it is. Again, if somebody listening to this, oh, well, I know a guy who it helps, whatever. Okay, pick your own exception. That's fine. Whatever. We can argue about it later if you want to. But generally speaking, if my kids come home after they have left the house, they have moved out, they have become adults, they come back and we have a conversation and they say, I was talking to a friend of mine who smokes weed and drinks and whatever, and, I was trying to explain to them why I don't think it's helpful and I don't do those things. I'm going to be proud.
Yeah.
If that same kid comes and in that same conversation says, yeah, well, I've only been drinking a couple beers every once in a while.
Yeah.
Once in a while, I only smoke a little bit of weed from time to time. Am I going to be proud? No.
Yeah.
Am I going to be utterly heartbroken? I'm going to be mildly disappointed.
Yeah.
Probably more than mildly. I'm going to be disappointed. But I'm certainly not going to be happy that they decided to do those things. And I don't think there are too many people out there. If you look at it that way, like as the parent who has the now adult child or going to be adult child, are you going to be excited about them doing these things? If not, you should probably not be doing those things too, because you are the example that they will likely follow.
Oh, absolutely. I think it's always funny to me because like in our friend community, I'm like the straight-laced one, right? But like I've got a lot of experience using. I've had prior drug use, I've had alcohol use pretty heavily, but I can honestly say, and then like my work environment now, I experience and see a lot of that. But in my opinion, I think marijuana is like super harmful. Yeah, I think it is. I think they're finding now how harmful it can be, especially for young people. I mean, you can look it up. I'm not, a scientist. I'm not in medicine. My wife's a pharmacist, but I think you're seeing a lot of like mental health disorders being caused by marijuana use prior to people being fully developed. You see a lot of people. People are smoking weed at like 14 now. It's like crazy. But I think you'll see a lot. Mental health issues have like really spiked, obviously, in our generation. But I don't know if that's the cause. People way smarter than me, try to solve those problems. But there's pretty good evidence now that marijuana is associated with schizophrenia, especially when young. And that, for me, if I was 13 and you were like, you could get schizophrenia for smoking weed, I would be far away from marijuana.
I know a guy that was.
Yeah.
I guess you would say diagnosed. He was told by a psychiatrist or doctor that he has schizophrenia. Yeah. And that's what they told him is likely the cause is from
which is just
smoking weed. And
it's
when
really
I first
terrible.
heard that, I'm like, really?
Yeah.
But perhaps.
And like people get schizophrenia that don't smoke weed. It's a medical. It's not like, you smoke weed, you're going to get schizophrenia. People have schizophrenia from maybe smoking weed. People have schizophrenia because they just, their genetics just ended up that way, but it's a scary thing and it's a really hard thing.
Well, and even all of like medical studies, and you can get this and you can get that aside. We all know people that we grew up with that smoked a lot of weed, and as an adult, you can tell they smoked a lot of weed. And there are also lots of guys that I know that smoked some weed when they were kids and in school that you'd never know. Yeah. And perfectly fine. And they might still smoke a bunch of weed and they're still perfectly fine. Again, I know there are exceptions. I get it. But why risk it? Why take the chance? Nobody wants to be a 40-year-old burnout. Yeah. I don't think. I don't.
Yeah, I don't think it really does. Like I've seen people like incarcerated that like were normal and like they went out, like, because people come, they get arrested. I'm around, when I was working in the jail, you're around them for 6 months or whatever, how long their term is or whatever. And then they go out and you might not see them for a year or so, or you might not see them for 2 weeks and they come back. But I've met people that like legit normal humans went out, some type of heavy drug use, and
like
come
the
back
Instagram meme
and they're
with the
different.
9 pictures of the woman that started out. It's like,
oh yeah,
before drugs, and then by the end she's
absolutely.
got like no teeth and no hair.
You can literally look at like in the systems at work, like they have like, it keeps track of like your booking photo. Like it has your booking photo from 2012. If you're arrested a lot, your booking photo from 2013, your booking photo.
Goals.
Yeah. But you can go through the system and click the different years and you can legit see people progress,
That's scary.
through drug use. And it's a whole different topic. We could probably do an episode on, but like drug use, like in our cultures, will ruin our society. Like I'm just convinced of that. Whether like foreign governments are like involved in that, I don't know. If I was a foreign government and I wanted to ruin America, opioids would be a good way to do it. But maybe it is bigger picture than just, people wanting to escape and use drugs. I don't know. But the power that drugs have over people's lives. I mean, you have these people like at work, like you see these people, they have a whole family. They have all these things that stereotypically should keep you from being addicted to drugs, and they just can't. Like it just completely overcomes them. I mean, it's just, they're so powerful. Yeah. And the deeper you get, into the drug use, marijuana is one thing, alcohol is one thing, but, opioids and heroin and meth and, psychedelics, that's a whole different story. But like,
yeah, the psychedelics is kind of an interesting one. And I don't really know where my opinion falls on some of that, like the Ibogaine treatments and things like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. That one's up for debate in my mind still.
I mean, you have a lot of interaction with like people from the military community, and who am I to say that like someone that suffers from real severe PTSD isn't helped by, psychedelic therapy? Because I know that's like an area that they're expanding, but I don't know. I struggle to jump on board that just because there's so much, I feel like, risk using something that's that mind altering.
Yeah. I just don't know. I'm like on a back and forth. In some ways I feel like it's really not good. In some ways I feel like it could potentially be really, really good. I just don't know. And that's in an environment where it's essentially a medical procedure.
Oh yeah.
And I still don't know. I don't know. I have never experienced it. I don't have, I've never been in the military or been a cop or anything like that. I have no PTSD. Yeah. So I'll just stay out of that one entirely.
But I mean, when you think about it, you have these guys that have like combat veterans that have gone over and served our country, served us. I mean, they've seen things that like I can't even imagine, and they're damaged from that, like physically damaged. And, they're going to go to a clinician in a structured environment, take some type of psychedelic. They're monitored. They're looked after. If something happens, they have safety people there. They have all the types of medical evaluation on them, so they know what's happening inside their body, outside their body. Mm-hmm. It's safe. On paper, it's safe, right? And then now we have it's the same psychedelic drug, and you're 14 at a house party.
Right. Dropping tabs of acid.
Think about that. It's crazy to think like that's the severity of what those type of drugs carry. Like those are doctors that are like, this is a serious thing. Like, we have to have somebody in the room with you watching you 24/7 when you're on this, because like it's heavy stuff. And then you got this kid that's like, hey, you want to try this?
Yeah.
So
and ends up thinking he's a glass of orange juice.
Yeah. Which is crazy, but that they actually think they're a glass of orange juice.
We devolved hard.
Yeah. But I mean, drug use, alcohol, it's a teenage problem.
Maybe. How much caffeine is in this?
Yeah. Kyle drank 2 Monsters today. He's like, I might have been on a psychedelic.
Yeah. As I indulge in my addiction here, let's talk about drugs. Way back around pajama pants. If you're a young man, carry yourself like a young man. There's nothing wrong with practicing to be a man.
Yeah.
And I think that's how you should carry yourself in public.
Yeah.
You should be the people that you're with, especially if it's a young lady who you have any interest in at all, should look to you as somebody who, at a minimum, will put her needs, care, and safety before his own.
Yeah.
Not that you cannot do that in fuzzy slippers and pajama pants, but, if you're going to do it, don't look like a jackass doing it.
Yeah.
Right?
I think, like, the one thing for me that, like, I hopefully can get through to, like, people in their teenage years, especially men, is, like, there's a time to be serious and there's a time to be silly and joking. Mm-hmm. And you don't let, your fear of the serious conversation or the responsibility cause you to be that jokester, you can still be that person that, you can have both of those hats, and there's a place for both of those hats, but understand where to separate it. There's a time to be serious. There's a time to take care and be responsible about things. And honestly, a lot of times when you make a joke out of everything or run from that type of responsibility, you're going to get to a point at some point in your life that you're like, it's not too late, but it's going to be a lot harder.
When the time comes that you need to be taken seriously, you want to be able to be taken seriously.
Yes. Yeah.
And if you've lived life as a joke up to that point, then there's no reason for anybody to take you seriously.
Yeah. There's a term that I like that I've used and read in some of the books, and like gravitas, when someone with gravitas walks into a room, like they're taken serious, because they have some weight behind.
And that's a difficult thing to develop.
It is.
Even as a man, like that's something that when I walk into a room, and it's not like I want everybody to like me. I don't care so much about that. But when I come to someplace and the people there know me, I want them to feel, ideally, I'd like them to be like, oh man, I'm glad Kyle's here.
Yeah.
Not because, we enjoy his company so much, but just because whatever the situation is, I'm not going to make it worse.
Yeah.
And if it's a bad thing, hopefully I'll make it better. If it's a good thing, I'll not make it worse. But at a minimum, you don't want to be the one that walks in the room and everyone goes, here he comes.
Yeah. And that's good, like actionable advice for teenagers to go out there and strive to be, because even a teenager knows, like in high school and in public school or any type of group environment, you guys know who like that is. And he doesn't help in the situation when he comes around. A lot of people in the room are like, oh, this guy's here again. We have to deal with this now, But I think gravitas too, like when you're that person and you come into that environment, you're not only someone that people look up to and are glad they're there, but you're also someone that's trustworthy, that has strong character, that inside of them, they're like, I kind of need to act right in a way because I know that person's going to tell me when I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Not over the top, but there's some accountability that person holds when he's around,
Yeah. And that person should be a person that, if that's who you are, then you also are, you're okay with your imperfection too, and you're prepared to say, hey, I'm sorry, I screwed that up.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think there's something to that as well.
Yeah.
Part of that being serious, being able to be taken serious, acting like a man, doing all that you do in love is, hey, that thing that I just did, I did that wrong, and I'm sorry.
And how quickly you get to that, I think, is something that people should strive for. I think we can wrap it up on that one.
All right, man. Yeah, hour and 12 in. We did all right today.
We did pretty good.
The monster might have done more of the talking than anything else, but that's okay.
My brain's always fried after open mat. You're a little more experienced at jiu-jitsu than me, so maybe your brain isn't
I
fried.
didn't roll super hard today because I freaking hurt myself rolling with you 2 seconds into the first round, which was my own fault. My own fault. So I only rolled like 4 or 5 times today. Anyways,
you still beat me up, hurt ankle or not.
I don't even remember the rest of the roll after that.
There wasn't much to it, I don't think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whatever. It is what it is. Guys, go out there, act like a man this week. Don't wear pajama pants to the grocery store. And if you do, and you run into me, say something, and I'm probably going to pick on you for it.
Get on mission. Sit down and think about what the mission is, and then get on mission.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
All right.
Awesome.
Well, it's been Iron and Grace.
Have a good one. Until next week.